We are back, people. It's one of those days again. It's a make it something day. So, as you all know, FXDX normally run these soft bags, which are really good for day-to-day use. They're amazing. Carry a toolkit in there, can put like a hoodie in there, sunglasses, cap, everything you need for the day going off. Anyway, that's good if you want to do a day. I'm going to do a few trips on this bike soon, so got a couple of things planned. Cornwall, heading up country as well, a few events to go to, so need some more storage. Cue Amazon bags. They're not actually Amazon bags, they're the ones that everyone on YouTube says, Amazon bags. They're not. They're, I got these from Motea. I think it's like a German website. Yeah, they're really good, if I'm honest. They were about 180 quid. It's probably like $200, I suppose. But 180 quid with import, landed to the front door and got here really quick. I ordered them, I think I ordered them like on Sunday night and they turned up here within a week. So they'd come all the way from Germany, clear customs, done everything. They don't come with this orange thing, so this is me playing because I think I'm going to put a pinstriped line on the bags once they're painted to match the red paint on the front of the bike. So anyway, the bags, they're lockable. They got sort of real good sturdy feeling lock on it actually, and it does feel really good and sturdy. So much so that I've locked this one and I've left the key inside, and you really can't break into these. They seem really good, to be fair. They're like a lot of the reviews online, that's why I wanted to go through these, say they don't give you much info about them. I've only seen one pair of these on a Dyna. I looked for weeks and weeks and weeks on the internet for photos, could only find one pair of this type with the flat back, as if they look like the cut style bags that you'd have on like a bagger that's been cut for riding wheelies and stuff. Couldn't find anyone that had done a specific review on these. You get the ones with the little light on the back, and lots of people say that they're really flimsy. They're not sort of expensive feeling plastic. They're around about 100 quid, I think. These were more money, so these were next step up. The other set is about 100 quid with a fitting kit. These don't come with a fitting kit, so you've got to make your own, so that's what we're going to do today. But these, they're awesome. They are really, they're really quite thick plastic, I'm not going to lie. They feel quite rigid. You got a gasket around them for waterproofing. They've got this rubber like retention thing here, so the lid doesn't flop over and damage the hinge. Like I said, pretty good sturdy metal lock, which is held in with bolts, so that's good. Everything's removable on these, apart from this little latch here, which I'm not too fussed about. But if you wanted to remove stuff to get bits painted, or to get these painted as I'm going to match the bike, you just need to mask this little piece up, which is not the end of the world. A little bit of foam in the bottom. One small odd thing, they've got two little holes here and here in the bottom. They're tiny, tiny little holes, but I'm gonna fill those or tap them, put a grub screw or something in them. They don't need to be there. I think they're probably to drain, but these are waterproof. So I have seen a guy online spraying with a hose to really give them a try. They have got a rubber seal and it fits quite tight. Like, you really got to give that a squeeze to wiggle it, so I'm happy with that. They're 23 litres each. So, trial yesterday just to see what I could get in one of these, to see. In one, I managed to get one pair of Vans trainers, 4 pairs of socks, 4 pairs of pants, a pair of jeans, a cap, a pair of swimming shorts, a pair of shorts, 4 t-shirts and a wash bag and a hoodie on top, so that you've got quite a lot of room in the lid here. So I sort of piled it, I rolled everything up nice and tight, put like clever packing, put the socks in the trainers, rolled the t-shirts up. But yeah, that's a fair chunk of clothes for someone for a trip. So that was in one bag alone. And then have a small sort of one-man tent set up and a small sleeping bag and a few other bits that all fits in the other one. So I'm pretty confident I could go away for probably 3-4 days, maybe a little bit longer if you're willing to do old inside outy pants. Yeah, and I don't I don't think anyone's really spoke about that online, so just wanted to cover that. They do hold quite a bit, and for the money, I think they're pretty good. I looked at buying like road glide bags or street glide bags and then cutting them up. Even second hand, they're ridiculous money. You'd still have to modify the way you mount them. So yeah, I thought this was the best way to go, and it's not even a couple £100. If they really are bad and they don't last, it's not a massive loss, but for me it's more about seeing whether we can make the mounting system and get these to fit. So yeah, that's the bags essentially. So let's move on to the mounting system and what we're going to do. So you got the original mounts here. So these are my strap-on bag mounts. So they sit under the seat round and lock in here and here. I'm going to use these fixing points that fix the fender on. I've bought some tube. So we've got some thick-walled 19mm tube. We're going to, and I've turned up one already to kind of get an idea, but we're going to make a load more of these and I'll run through the process. So I'm going to turn these up. These will then get accepted into the end of the tube. So I've turned this one off nice and straight in the lathe. They'll go in, fit in the end of the tube nicely. They will then bolt on there. We're going to come out about 2 inches from the end. And then make a leg off of that tube that drops down with a tapped bung that picks up the bottom of the bag. There's conveniently a lip on the back of these, and I've sort of had a bit of a measure up myself last night where I want them to go. Sat someone on the back to make sure it clears the leg so I know where we need to go. And they pretty much line up with the back of this, with the bottom of the plate, which works out really well. You kind of hook the lip onto those bolts and then move it up about 1 inch. And they sit there. So to be honest with you, I think they look really nice. They should give you plenty of clearance with all your shock and stuff by the time you come out, about 1 3/4 inch, 1.5 inches, which I think will be absolutely fine. You're never going to need to clear the full swing arm, because if this ends all the way up here, you've bottomed out in the fender anyway. So just bear that in mind. You just want to clear things like the caliper on this side. That wants to be stuck out enough to clear the bag. And the belt guard on this side, you're not really worried about the nut, because you've got 3 inches of travel in here, and you very rarely hit the bump stops. I mean, as long as your shocks are set up correctly, like in the last video, you've done your sag, you shouldn't be using all that travel. If you are, you've really taken a heavy hit. When I go out with this fully loaded up, I'll adjust these onto a slightly harder setting, readjust the sag, set it up for the weight, and they should ride absolutely fine. We'll take a few measurements when we mock these on, make sure that this definitely isn't going to hit this, and vice versa on the other side. Yeah, and I think they look good. So the plan is go silver, and probably to match the front of the bike where you've got the red pinstriping, we'll do a red pinstripe on the bag. So yeah, let's get into measuring, making and doing and get them on. Oh, and other upgrade I didn't tell anyone about, I went for an LP6 copy headlight. I think it looks all right. It's on, I gotta say, it's really bright. Got to do something clever with the wiring so that I can run the amber daylight runner and the full beam at the same time when full beam's on, so you get the little logo. But yeah, it's to some people's taste and it won't be to others, but definitely being seen on the road. So let's talk materials. So I buy most of my steel from a company called Metals For You online. They're really good. They're actually really cheap as well, and they'll cut stuff to length. So I ordered 3 1 meter lengths of the 19mm 2mm wall tube, and then I ordered some 22.2, I think it is as well, because I didn't know what size we were gonna use for the bags, what looked best, what looked supportive enough. The 19mm is absolutely perfect. The 22 is massively overkill, but we'll use that for stuff on the hot rod anyway. So I ordered some of that, and I also ordered some bar stock, short length for this. So I ordered, I think that was about in fact the delivery was more expensive than the tube, so I think that was about 30 quid for all that, so nothing massive. And then I've ordered 2 little chunks of this to make these washers. This was 16 quid for the 2 lengths, and I think they were 300mm long each, so they weren't huge. And that's enough to do the 2 jobs we need to do. So that's the little length there that I've got. The smaller stuff, this will make a bung, so this is the same diameter as this. So this would be for the bottom mount. This would be tapped, welded onto the end of that tube nicely with a radius, and we'll accept an M8 bolt to hold the bottom of the bag. And then the top will be hollow tube, so we can run a fixing through into the top of the bag and then take the T-piece going down to the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to chunk this into 8 pieces. I've already got 2 of the washers made, so I need to make 6 more, so I need 6 more pieces. I would normally part them off, but I broke my parting off tool and I can't wait for one to be delivered. So let's chop this up with a grinder in 6 pieces and turn it down and go from there. So we're going to drill the centre of this first, so that's drilled and done as one long piece. Then we will chop the 6 pieces off, bring them back, machine them down into our little washers, and go from there. So let's get started. Spicy hot noodles coming out. Spicy noodles. We are there. Right. Lave off. Always turn the lave off. Don't just leave it disengaged when you got the chuck key in it. Let's go. So I've decided cutting these off in small pieces was not such a good idea, because that's going to be really hard to hold in the chuck. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this back in the chuck, and yes, it's hot. We're going to do our little step down piece, which I'll grab the verniers now and measure. It's all right, I had them all along there in my pocket. So we're going to do this little piece, then cut them off, because that allows me to hold it that way after in the lathe and face that side. So I think these are already set. I think these are about 15mm. Yeah. So let's turn this end down. Boom. So let's square this face off that I've just these are going to be fairly agricultural. We're not going for too much precision, if I'm honest. They're going to do the job. That's that. That's that. Step in. I'm going to chunk off ready for your little piece for biting on. Now we're making stuff. Safety first as well, get your goggles on when you're on a lathe. Little spicy hot noodles are coming off flat out. So, wind that out. Disengage, take a little rough measurement. We got a couple of mil to go yet. So I gave you a little knock then. Back in. Just want to creep up on it now. Don't want to come in Don't want to come in and undo all your good work by taking too much off. Oh, we're so close. Just a little skim. Think that'll do us. Yeah, perfect. Right, so that's that one. So let's chop this one off. So this off whilst we're waiting. Go and cut this one off and do the whole process 6 more times. So I'm not going to film it. Little handy tip. Probably not the safest thing in the world, but got to sand these up so they're just nice on the edges. They've all got like a little bit of burr on them. So I normally put this in the vise, lock the trigger on, and then I can run them round. Let me just show you. Run them round by hand, clean all the edges up. Without getting the big belt sander out, because it just wants a light sort of going over. Let them run round in your fingers. Takes all the edges off. Yeah, so just thought I'd show you that. Just done. These are all for the top parts of the bag. The bottom parts, as I said, are going to be little threaded bungs, so we're going to get on and make those. I need 4 of those with an M8 thread in them. So I'll set you up on the lathe. We'll get those made up. Little tiny, again at the same bar stock. Going to chunk this into 4 pieces, 20mm wide. Yeah, we go from there. Let's go. Next, we want to chunk these little blocks down that I've cut into 20mm wide. Then we want to drill a 6.5mm hole in them. Straight in, then tap them to M8. So let's get going. Spicy noodles. So we're done. All the side bits done, all the bits are done, all the plugs to go on the end of the tube for the bolts to screw into at the bottom half of the tube. All done and dusted. So we're now going to go over to the bike and work out what our distance is that we need from the edge of the bag to the inside edge of the bag to the bike frame, to know how long these bits of tube need to be that we're going to build off to start with. We're going to offer it up. Just for convenience, I'm going to hook it on this lip. This won't be the finished height. And just see what we got in terms of a gap between the shock and... Actually, it's quite good. I mean, if that comes up that far, we've got serious problems. So I think we're going to get away with probably inch bits of tube just to bring it out. We're going to be able to go fairly close, if I'm honest. And at that point there, let's check the other side as well. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be travelling up a fair bit for that to be... So the tyre's got to almost be touching the inside of the fender to hit the bottom of this. So I actually think we're going to get away with some nice short bits of tube, probably an inch or so. Where's the tape measure? Let's get a... What are these? Here's 20mm, so if we said these plus that bit there. Right. That is almost going to be perfect. So whatever that is, looks like it'll work. So that ends up being about 40. It's about 1.5 inches, which is what I said it would be. Yeah, so we'll cut our bits of tube at 35mm, 4 bits of those. Then we'll probably, before we weld it all together, we'll offer it all up, bolt it up with these not welded on. Make sure it all cycles, run the suspension up and down, and go from there. So, first things first, we're going to cut some bits of tube. Let's bring you back in. So first things first, we're going to cut some of this tube down to 35mm length pieces. This one's squared off already. We'll roughly mark them, then put them in the lathe and turn them down so we know they are absolutely bang on and completely square. They're all done and all the same length, turned off on the end, so we'll just clean them up and then get to the scary part. We've got to drill some holes in these bags. So before we take the nuts off of here, because these will be getting replaced obviously with our standoffs, we're going to use these to sort of mark where we want to be. So I put some masking tape on the back, and we're going to use that when we rub on there to try and transfer 2 marks where we're roughly going to be. I've already marked them underneath with a marker pen where I roughly think they need to be, but this will just confirm. So mine looked good lined up with the back of the number plate. It gave the passenger more or a little bit of leg clearance, so their leg can kind of come down and onto the peg down here nicely. So we're going to go with the back of the number plate there. It all looks kind of nice and symmetrical then. And we're going to come up a bit just so that you've still got, when you're compressing the seat with your bum, you're not sitting on the bag. So we're going to go about there, I think. Give that a bit of a rub. Gives that a bit of a rub up and down. And that's left 2 marks. So we're going to go and mark those more accurately. Transfer those. Drill them out. Mark. Make sure they're the same centres as these. So we're going to do this on this table with a towel. I'll just run you through this process a little bit so that we kind of can do it together. We're going to grab one of our... We're not going to worry about this one for a minute because this is for the bottom one. So we'll work about these out in a bit. We'll just do these ones first. So we're going to grab my ruler and we're going to get these. We want them level from the edge of there, 4 centimetres. That one's 3. So we're going to split the difference. Right, now I did under here have a mark that was there. So it's about 3.5, which is where I wanted it. So we're going to go 3.5 down, which is about there. So that would put our mount around there. And then we're going to go 3.5 down on this. Actually, we're going to go over to the bike and we're going to measure this quickly between here. Oh, that's almost where it needed to be on here, so that's perfect. So there. So that's that. Then we'll come down our 3.5 from the lid lip, which is there. So that pretty much. And we can kind of confirm it by just going into that dip there. It's about 2.5 to top. Dip 2.5 to top. Perfect. So that is where we're drilling. Risky stuff now. So I'm going to drill these through with probably an 8.5, so there's a tiny bit of wiggle room. I'm going to leave the tape on so it doesn't scratch or wind off. So let's get that drilled really quickly. Nice. And again. What we'll do later, so we know these are the same side to side, we'll actually put the 2 bags next to each other and mark through. Perfect. Perfect. Right, that's that done. We are going to take these bolts out so we can mount the bag. Keep your old hardware because you might want to go back to the soft bags. You might not want to run these all the time, so keep this. So put this to one side. It can go over there. So I've just offered the first bit through. So looks kind of good actually. I'm really happy with it. So that's through. So we're going to get the second one on. set of washers, one of the bolts, stainless steel washer on the inside of the fender, just so it's all nice hardware. It goes through like that. It goes on. Boom, boom, boom. Then we are going to grab an Allen key, and we're going to get ourselves a ratchet. Okay, we're going to whip this open, and hopefully, by some sheer stroke of luck, this is going to work. I'm going to try and hook it on, get it through the hole without pushing it. Yeah. That's cool, that's kind of there. Ow. Well, that was comedy. I'm sure all of you out there find that funny. My head didn't. But it turns out I drilled these extremely spot on, because it's almost bang on the hole. So that's good. So little ratchet. We're not going to use an impact gun to do this up, because it's all fairly delicate at the moment. Surprisingly difficult to get your hand in behind the fender and do it up at the same time. There we go. We're there. Oh yeah. Aha! Got you this time. Not get me that time. If there's any review I'd add to these, is I wish these had something to keep them open. And I think I have a little trick. Yeah, there we go. So they're on. Already pretty sturdy. With the bottom bars, they'll be amazing. So, woo! We're obviously going to have some bottom supports on this, so it'll be much more sturdy, but that's only on 2, and it's still pretty good. Clearance, I know you can see the brake caliper cleared. The arm won't clear, but if the arm's coming up that high, as I said, so we've got, before the arm hits the bottom of the bag, we've got all of that. Well, we've only got that much stroke there. So even if it compressed all the way, and some for the leverage factor, we're well clear. They are actually really cool. I think they're going to look really good silver as well with that red pinstripe. We have a visitor in the garage. She will pop in from time to time for a guest appearance. There is another one, but she's more of a lazy house dog. We are going to use this thing here, something you use to notch tube. So we're going to undo this bolt here, set this angle to 0, because we want it at 0. And put this in a vise on the little machine, which is there. That means you'll be cutting a dead plump or straight cut with the piece of tube. We're then going to get ourselves a 20mm hole saw. Looks like I've seen better days, to be fair, but it's going to be okay. We thread that onto there. Take the pin out like a grenade. Get our bits of tube that we want to notch, essentially a 20mm radius into the end of them, to be able to receive this little bung we've made. So we're then going to sit that in there. We're going to take that up to there, put this little thing here, do that up. Bob's your uncle. Do it up quite a lot. That's that. It's not quite true. It's about 2 degrees. Yeah, looks about right. We then get the drill. Put the tap away. This goes on the end. And we change the battery because she's dying. Put that on the end. Got a bit of cutting fluid. I think it's still not quite at the right angle. It's not. Trying to fight it. Perfect. So we now have a little tube. Just give a little buzz up. Clean off, clean the oil. So now I have a tube there that's perfectly got a notch in it, which will accept that. So when we weld that on, it's nice. Like that. So we can then put these on here, clamp them down, tack those on. We know they're square, tack it all in place, and we know we've got a piece that works. This then will fit weld as well to the other bit of tube, so we've got to do the same notchy other end, and that'll hold the bag stiff then and rigid. So let's do this to all these 4 bits of tube. I'm missing one. It's here. So we'll do this to all these bits of tube. We know they're all done. Ready to roll. So what I'll do, rough cut the end of this, then we can worry about the length on the next cut. I'm done. Next one. One more. Perfect. Then we get all these. You come in down here. These tubes then, we'll get them all the same length. So we want them all the same length. So we're going to run them all. Give them a clean up first. We'll go for the shortest one. So if we get something square, push them all up against it. And find the shortest one, which is that one there. And then do a line across all of them, which will give us our where we want to cut through line, so that we know we're using maximum of the tube. Don't want to be wasting any. We knew we wanted them that length roughly. Put them in the same orientation so that the cuts are parallel to each other. That's there. That's straight up and down. Lock that in place. It's about there. Make sure that's straight up and down. If it's off, we'll have a problem. That's there. and notched. One down. Clean that one up. Do the same again with all of these, and then we'll catch back in.
A few minutes later.
We've got these clamped in a vise, so they're all square, level. And we're going to weld these now. We're going to tack them, and we're going to do this side of the bike. I'm going to take that bag off, do both sides, drill those through, mock it all up finally, and give it a go. So let's get this welded. Let's cue a time lapse during that, and check back in once it's all welded. So the brackets are made, done. They've come out really nice. Welded brackets, bung welded on the bottom, all lovely, lovely. So we lay these on the bag. So we put the bolts through the original holes, so we know we've got some good placement. Go in with a scribe and mark through these holes. That's left us a mark and a mark there. We now know we can drill through, which puts the bags in the right place, or our holes in the right place for that bag. So let's do that now. So that one. And that's that one. We're just going to use a deburring tool, just take some of that edge out to one of these in the hole, clean it out, so when it comes to paint, it's a nice finished edge. Not worried too much. I mean, if you were keeping these black, you want to go a little bit careful about scratching these, but we're not, so they're going to be painted, so I'm not too worried. So now we can offer that up. That fits perfectly there. It works really well. Same with this one. Bang on. This is it. Proof's in the pudding. That's it. They're on. They are on. And I think they look really good. And I mean really good. Imagine them in silver with the line painted. So I've checked all the clearance in here, but loads of clearance to that caliper, loads of clearance to the belt cover. If it was to contact, we can space it out more. I don't think it's going to. I run my shocks pretty stiff, as we know. Talking of stiff, they are going nowhere. I mean, they're moving the bike. So they are awesome. Perfect, to be fair. So yeah, let's tear them back off. Let's get them painted. I'm going to drop them up to a friend to get painted. So fast forward them being painted and we'll reassemble them, get them on finished and pinstripe them.
3 days later.
Back to back. So I got all excited, as you do, and I've put one on because I couldn't wait. The paints come out amazing. They're perfect. I'm glad I got them painted to match. Little bit of chrome on the back, matches the back, sort of light bezel. A little bit of black here, kind of matches there. They sit perfect. So let's get the other one built up and on. Didn't get the insides painted because there's no point. Gonna do, like in another video, probably like a nice, almost like the flexible carpet you use in camper vans. Do a liner in these. I've also bought some holders that fit in there perfectly, so got that for going away. So let's get this side off, or the bars off, get mounted to that, get it on, get it outside, see what it looks like, and take it for a ride. So just a little one I'm putting Loctite on the bolts that go on the inside of the bag, on the bottom fixing. As we know, they all vibrate like mad. Bit of Loctite, stop them coming out, because the last thing you want is these falling off when you're going down the road. So at this point, I will let you know that on the other bag I made a bit of a mistake. Well, not so much a mistake, I have worked out I could have done it in a better order. So I bolted the lid to the bag and the lock on, and then opted to fit it to the side. And as you probably saw earlier in the video, it gets all floppy and the lids fall down, and it was a bit of a bugger. So I've opted to fit this first. I'm now going to fit the lock and fit the hinge separately, then fit the lid on. So it's a bit of an easier process. I'll also point out, in the bottom of the bag in here, there's two little holes. I think these are drain holes, but these are waterproof, so they've got like a sealed gasket around the lid, so they shouldn't leak, as I said before. If they do let water in, I'll probably put another rubber gasket in, something a little bit better. So I've filled the holes on the other one with a little bit of sticker flex, just to make sure that no water can spray up. I doubt you'd get anything in from those little holes, but you never know. So I've just put a little bit of silicone, black silicone in there, sticker flex. But yeah, I mean, these are solid. I can't stress. I'm shaking the bike off of just a small. They are on there. It's done. They're on. I am really happy. They look like chopped road glide bags, which is what I wanted. So like the whole chop stunt, they look like they've been cut off, almost square, fender poking a tiny bit. They are, yeah, really cool. Don't stick out, basically stick out as much as the foot controls. I don't know whether they stick out further than the bars. Let's have a look. But about the same as the bars, so it's pretty cool that I know the width hasn't changed much, so I can still filter and do what I've got to do, and they won't be an issue. But yeah, let's get outside, let's go and have a look, and let's go and take it for a ride. Let's go. So we've been for a ride. We took it on a pretty punishing route to try it, see if it bottomed out, see if anything would hit, see if it was any issues, and none at all. Really good, really happy with them. If I'm honest, I'm ecstatic with them. They look really cool. They don't flap around, no vibrations, come out really well. I mean, let me know, see what people think. If it's something you'd like, I might even look at making the mounts. Obviously you have to buy the bags yourself and drill them and do all that. I might be able to do a template for you, but you'd have to make sure. But I might make these mounts. I don't know what they'd cost, I don't know what they'd be, but I can certainly look into it. But yeah, super happy. Sun's out as well. At a really good hot rod event this weekend, so stay tuned for that one. But yeah, I think that's the end of this video. I will paint the red stripes on them, and I'll do a little update video. I'm gonna do this red up round here, as we spoke about, and probably along here, just to sort of break it up a bit. But drop a comment, let me know what you think about that idea as well. And yeah, see you on the next one. Cheers.